Hello everyone, so welcome to this week's art lesson. This week we're going to be looking at Cubism. Cubism was an art movement that happened around the beginning of the 20th century, so about 100 years ago, after the First World War. It went across Europe and lots of artists, they'd kind of been released from having to make realistic looking pictures. It started with the Impressionists. The Impressionists started to do paintings that looked a little bit like, or suggested, or gave the impression of what they were actually painting. And then with the Cubism, they really got into lines. They didn't have to paint realistically anymore because they had photographs to do that. So painting in some ways was sort of set free at this time. It was quite a very interesting period. Ultimately, of course, it went to complete abstraction, which means it wasn't actually a picture of anything, it was more about paint. And I know we've done abstract paintings in school, they're really, really good fun. So, I think they must have spent a lot of their time in cafes, chilling out, and having a nice time. I know that a lot of the scenes are lots of portraits of each other, or things that they enjoyed doing. So, this one here, to give you an idea, is one by Pablo Picasso. You've probably heard of Picasso, he's very famous. He did an awful lot of work and did all sorts of different kinds of work as well. And this one here is called The Card Player, and you can see you've got sort of a table here, and you've got a book on the table, you've got a bottle on the table, and you've got some cards, and you've got a bit there that says which is journée, which means day. So he's obviously enjoying a game of cards there with a friend. Here's someone else who is very beautiful. This is Wongri, and again you can see here. You've got a bottle here. It could be a bottle of water. It could be a bottle of wine. I'm not sure. You've got the newspaper at the bottom. You've got another bottle or glass here, and it looks like you've probably got some smoke from a cigar or something like that. Seems like quite a nice way to spend your day. I'm looking forward to when we can all do it again. George Braque is another one, and this one is really cool because he's got some musical forms in this one. So you can see here you've got part of a violin, and it's fragmented. It's all sort of split up. You've got the strings here, you've got the top bit here, and I really like this one. I really like actually violins. I've actually got a cello here. The music department have given me because it was broken, which is great. It's lovely. Could keep it for drawings. And obviously, if you look at the shape of it, violins are a similar shape. It's missing its bridge and its strings. It would have a strip here, and it would have the strings on it too. But these shapes in it here, these sort of F shapes, and this the neck, and this lovely curl at the top here is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to be thinking about this when I'm making my work this week. The other thing, of course, especially Picasso, because he was Spanish, he loved the guitar. So this is another guitar I got, which I have for my drawings. And again, you've got that very distinctive hole in the middle. You've got this bit here, which all the strings fit to. And you've got that very distinctive curved shape, as well as the neck with these lovely little demarcations for the notes. And at the top, you have these fantastic little keys that you twist to tune the guitar. So I'm going to be thinking about that as well. We're going to be using or making a collage. So collage is great. So what you would definitely going to need for collage is some glue and some scissors. What I do is I collect all sorts of bits of old paper. So obviously, because I'm in school, I've got things like maths paper. That's really cool. But also I've got lots of other bits and pieces, offcuts, bits of sweet boxes. I mean, that's quite a big chocolate box. This was a hummingbird bakery box someone brought in. Got interesting bits of paper like this. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I think it's an old piece of lining paper for a book. I've got some of that. Envelopes are always good. Envelopes, and what I've done as well is I've actually taken labels off bottles by soaking them in hot water and then peeling them off really, really carefully. Ask a grown-up if you want any help with that, but it does work really, really well. And I've also got the back label as well because it's quite nice. many different coloured papers, including, and this is something that I should really get some more of, some bits of wallpaper, samples of wallpaper, which are really good. Some very interesting designs on these two, so they're quite nice as well. But you can use anything that you've got to hand, really. The other thing as well, because obviously if I was sitting in a cafe, I'd want to be reading a newspaper, so I've got some old metros as well, and there's lots of fantastic print in here with the writing and all that sort of stuff. Obviously I'm going to make sure that I'm not doing anything inappropriate or any inappropriate pictures on it. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to make or recreate a cafe scene in our imagination, where we're relaxing, either having a drink of coffee or baby chinos, and whichever it is if you like them, maybe listening to some music and reading the paper and having a nice time. Okay, so here's my piece of paper to start off with. You may notice that I'm doing it portrait. That's because I'm going to put a table at the bottom. I'm going to put all my things on it, so it'll be longer than it is wide. So I think that's perhaps worth while doing. Again, if we look at some of these pictures that they've done, there's all sorts of different pieces or elements to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with a table. Now, if you have got a circle, which is what my table is going to be, say I've got a circle. If I want to make that look 3D, if I twist it, it becomes an oval. So I'm going to first of all cut out an oval shape out of my piece of paper. So first thing to do, make sure it's the right size, cut it out roughly, and then I'm going to cut an oval, so like an eye shape. I'm going to save this bit because you never know, I might need it. That looks pretty cool. I like that a lot. That's the start of it. So I need to add some legs. So I need to get another piece of my paper. I'm going to use a piece of this. I cut a strip of it. A couple of strips actually. I'm going to lay them down. You may notice that I haven't glued anything together yet. That's because I'm going to play with the layout a little bit so I'll get it right. So far I like this a lot. There's my lovely table. Now I need to decide what I'm going to do on it. So one of the things that I would like to do is have a drink. So I could, found this advert for wines, I could cut one of those out, but I don't really want to do that. I think what I want to do is create my own wine bottle. For that I'm going to use an old envelope. So I'm going to cut the piece off. Old envelope there. So I'm not too worried about being too exact on this either. I'm just going to have a go, see what's what. If I don't like it, I'll throw it away and I will use a different piece. Cut up the sides. That looks pretty cool. I'm not too worried about it being completely symmetrical either. This doesn't have to be based on realism. So there's my bottle of wine. Of course, if I'm going to have a bottle of wine, I need something to drink it out of, so I'm not going to drink it out the bottle, I'm going to have a glass. So for that, I'm going to have a base. And a stem. Actually, I should have cut that out first. So there is a base. Now I need to do a top part. So there we go, there's my wine glass and my wine bottle. Now one thing, like I was talking about this oval earlier on, I'm going to put an oval at the top of that. I'm going to do it in a different colour because then it'll give the impression that it's 3D. So using a little bit of paper, oops, just going to make sure I get this the right width. And that will fit quite nicely in the top there to give it the impression of being 3D. There we go, looking good so far. I would like to stick a label on there actually as well, and I have got the remains of an actual label that came off a drinks bottle. So if I just cut a little bit off that, I think that works quite nicely if it goes on there like so. Looking good, looking good. So the last thing I want to add is a bit of newspaper. So I need to put some, I want something at the front here that I'm going to sit and enjoy. So I think I like the Sudoku, so I'm going to cut that out. I'm pretty happy with the way that is at the moment, although I'm going to trim a few bits and sort a few bits out, make them a bit neater. And then I'm going to glue them down. So I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so there's my finished picture to start with. I think what I might try and do now, just to give you some more ideas, is try and do a musical instrument instead. So again, I'm going to start with my my portrait paper, my paper in a portrait position. And for this one, I think I'm going to use black paper, this lovely black card. And I'm going to have a go at making a guitar. So cut out the main body first. A guitar obviously looks a bit like an 8. So okay, there's my guitar body. Do the hole, fold it over and cut out a semicircle on the fold, and there's my hole. So it does look more guitar-like. Of course, the other bit I'm going to do is now the bit at the top of the neck. Should look good like that. I think I'm going to use some more of my envelope for this as well. So that's good. So now I'm going to glue it down, and then I'm going to make another one next to it. So I'm going to have a selection of musical instruments. Right, so there's my guitar done. I'm going to have a go now at making a violin. Now obviously the violin has different sort of holes. I'm going to do the violin in the opposite colours. So I'm going to do it this colour with black details. Of course, I've got some other details in here, like those beautiful F shapes, which I'm not going to be able to cut out. So I think I'm just going to have a go at drawing them on in pencil. The other thing as well that I'm going to do is put a spiral in here. I'm going to be quite minimal with my lines. I don't want to mess it up too much with that. And I think what I might do is actually go over it with a fine liner. Okay, there you go. Actually, one thing I wish I'd done is put a table underneath this. Maybe I could do that. I'll pick that up. See if I can change my mind slightly. This is why it's good to lay it all down first before you glue it down. But obviously, decisions get made, things change. Okay, so there you go. I think it's much better now. It's got sort of a base on it. So those are two very quick ideas if you want to use either of those. I have had a bit of fun with these and been making my own versions as well. So this one here, I've had a nice pattern there. I thought that would make a really good tabletop. Obviously, it's sort of this is sort of a similar idea to that. I really like that one as well. Again, you've got your table. This was a single leg, but I've got sort of some food and a plate and a little bottle of wine there, and then the horoscope on that one. And then this one, I decided to go and have a different background, and I like the idea of the card players and listening to musical instruments. So with this one, with the spine of the guitar, I found another interesting pattern on a piece of paper, so I used that to try and get the idea of it, and then I put the lines on over the top with pencil. So yeah, and this one I've got my coffee cup as well, so obviously I'm playing cards and being nice and alert and all fabulous. I love it. So yeah, that's it for this week. Have a go, see what you can come up with, and yeah, let me know how you go.